I logged into the payroll portal on commission day with my coffee still steaming. 3 months of negotiations. 87 client calls. One impossible deal that everyone said would never close. And I'd closed it. $2.4 million contract. The biggest in our division's history. My commission should have been $72,000. I clicked View Payment Details. Base salary. $4,200. Bonus/commission $0. I stared at the zero. Refreshed the page. Still zero. My hands went cold. I walked to my boss's office. Kenneth Harper sat behind his desk, scrolling through his phone. "Kenneth, there's an error in my commission payment." He looked up, smiled. "Oh right. The Brennan Industries deal. Yeah, we need to talk about that. Let's schedule something later this week." Later. The commission period closed yesterday. It should be processed. There are some complications. Nothing to worry about. His smile stayed fixed. "I'll explain everything when we meet." "When exactly?" "I'll have my assistant send you a meeting invite." I left his office with my stomach churning. Later never came. No meeting invite. No follow-up email. No explanation. Just silence and a missing $72,000. 2 weeks earlier, I'd walked into the office to applause. The Brennan Industries contract had been signed. 12 months of pitching, negotiating, revising proposals. A deal everyone said was impossible. "Brennan never works with outside vendors," our VP had said 6 months ago. "Don't waste time on them." I pursued them anyway. Built a relationship with their procurement director. Customized a solution that addressed their specific pain points. Stayed patient through 17 revision cycles. And finally they'd signed. The team gathered around my desk. Kenneth brought champagne. The VP shook my hand. "This is exactly what we needed," Kenneth said, raising his glass. "Outstanding work, Alex." Everyone toasted. Congratulated me. Asked how I'd done it. Felt proud. Valued. Essential. Kenneth pulled me aside afterward. "This changes everything for the division. For you too. This kind of win gets noticed upstairs." At the time, I'd thought he meant it as encouragement. Now, remembering his exact words, something felt different. This kind of win gets noticed upstairs. Not you get noticed. The win. The deal itself. And suddenly I remembered another comment from that day. Kenneth had been talking to the VP, thinking I was out of earshot. Finally landed the whale. "This puts us way ahead of target." Not me. A deal. Not the person who closed it. I gave him 3 days to schedule the meeting he'd promised. Nothing. On day 4 I went to his office again. "Kenneth, we need to discuss my commission. You said we'd talk." He didn't look up from his computer. "Right, yeah. Look, there's been some confusion about commission structure on enterprise deals. Finance is reviewing it." "Reviewing what?" "The commission policy is clear. 7% on new contracts over 1 million. It's not that simple with strategic accounts. Brennan wasn't classified as strategic when I started pursuing them. They were a cold prospect. The classification changed during the sales cycle." He finally looked at me. "Alex, I understand you're frustrated, but pushing this aggressively isn't helpful. Let finance do their review. How long will that take? These things take time. Be patient." "Kenneth, $72,000 isn't something I can just be patient about." His expression cooled. "I'd be careful about how you approach this. Being difficult about compensation issues doesn't reflect well, especially when you're being considered for advancement." The threat was subtle but clear. "Push this and your career suffers." I left his office shaking. Not from fear. From rage. That night, I searched for the sales rep who'd had my territory before me. Tyler Brennan. No relation to the company I'd just signed. His LinkedIn showed he'd left abruptly 8 months ago. Now working at a competitor. I sent him a message. "Quick question about commission payments at our old company. Can we talk?" His response came within an hour. "Absolutely. Call me." Tyler's first words were, Let me guess, they're withholding your commission. How did you know? Because Kenneth did it to me. Twice. His voice was bitter. Check the commission policy document in the employee handbook. Then check the version dated before your deal closed. I guarantee they're different. I pulled up the handbook while we talked. Current version, dated 3 weeks ago. Enterprise accounts over $2 million require executive approval for commission calculation. Rates may be adjusted based on strategic value and resource allocation. I searched my email for the original policy I'd been hired under. Found it. Dated 18 months ago. All sales representatives earn 7% commission on new contracts. Payment processed within 30 days of contract execution. Clean. Simple. No mention of executive approval or rate adjustments. They changed it, I said. After your deal closed, right? 3 days after. Same pattern. They wait until you've done the work. Then they retroactively change the terms. Tyler paused. Did you sign the new policy? I searched my inbox. No acknowledgement email. No signature request. No. Then they can't legally enforce it against you. But they'll try. They'll claim you were notified. They'll say it applies to all pending deals. His voice hardened. Don't let them gaslight you. And Alex, document everything. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment staring at both policy versions. They'd rewritten the rules. After I'd won. To avoid paying me what I'd earned. And they'd done it before. The next morning, someone from Payroll stopped me in the hallway. Cynthia Moore. Quiet. Efficient. I'd spoken to her maybe twice in 2 years. She glanced around, then lowered her voice. Can we talk? Not here. Okay. Coffee shop across the street. 15 minutes. Don't tell anyone. She walked away before I could respond. 15 minutes later, I found her at a corner table. Hands wrapped around a cup she clearly hadn't touched. I shouldn't be doing this, she said immediately. If they find out I talked to you, I'm fired. What's going on? Your commission. Kenneth sent Payroll a hold request. Said the deal was under executive review and payment should be delayed indefinitely. On what grounds? He didn't provide any. Just said to process your base salary only. She pulled out her phone, showed me a screenshot. An email from Kenneth to Payroll, dated the day after the deal closed. Subject. Commission hold Alex Morgan Brennan Industries deal. Please delay commission processing for subject employee pending review. Do not discuss with employee. Will advise when cleared for payment. I stared at the message. This was 2 weeks ago. Yes. The same day you closed the deal. Cynthia put her phone away. Alex, this isn't the first time. There's a pattern. Big deals, sudden holds, people leaving angry. How many others? That I know of. 3 in the past year. Why are you telling me this? Because it's wrong. And because. She hesitated. Save all your pay stubs. Every email about the deal. Anything showing the commission was earned and approved. You're going to need them. After she left, I sat alone with my coffee going cold. Kenneth hadn't forgotten to pay me. He'd actively blocked it. And he'd done it the moment I succeeded. I learned about the meeting by accident. I was in the break room when 2 managers walked past, not noticing me behind the coffee machine. Did you hear about the leadership meeting yesterday? The expense control one. Yeah, brutal. They're looking to cut costs everywhere. Kenneth brought up the commission structure. Said some reps are being overpaid relative to support resources. Did he mention names? He didn't have to. Everyone knew he meant Alex. That Brennan deal has a massive commission attached. 72 grand, I heard. Yeah. Kenneth's pushing to reduce it. Claiming the deal required significant management involvement. They moved out of earshot. I stood frozen, coffee cup trembling in my hand. Kenneth had gone to leadership. Argued I was overpaid. Claimed credit for management involvement in a deal he'd told me not to pursue. Someone had decided I didn't deserve what I'd earned. and they were changing the rules to justify taking it. That afternoon, I opened a new folder on my personal cloud drive. Evidence. Inside, I started saving everything. The original commission policy. The revised one. Tyler's contact information. Screenshots of the Brennan deal timeline showing zero management involvement. Emails where Kenneth had explicitly told me to handle Brennan independently. Every email showing the deal was mine alone. Every document proving I'd earned that commission. I worked quietly, only, without telling anyone what I was doing, playing small, letting them think I'd given up, while I built my case in silence. The next week I stopped pushing, stopped asking Kenneth about the commission, stopped mentioning it to HR. Stopped acting like I expected anything. In meetings I was professional, pleasant, focused on current deals. Kenneth noticed. I saw the relief in his expression. "Glad to see you're moving past the commission thing," he said casually one afternoon. "These disputes never help anyone. Better to stay focused on the future." "You're right," I said. Mile. Walked away. He thought he'd won. Thought I'd accepted defeat. Perfect. While he relaxed, I worked. I backed up every email from the past 18 months. Downloaded my entire sent folder. Copied my sales pipeline records showing Brennan's progression from cold lead to closed deal. I documented every conversation about the deal. Every milestone. Every client interaction. I created a timeline. Month 1. Identified Brennan as target. Kenneth. Don't waste time on them. Month 3. First meeting secured. Kenneth. Keep me updated but handle it yourself. Month 6. Proposal submitted. Kenneth. This is your deal. Own it. Month 9. Contract negotiations. Kenneth. Zero involvement documented. Month 12. Deal closed. Kenneth. Immediately blocked commission. Pattern clear. Evidence complete. I saved everything to 3 locations. Cloud storage. USB drive. Emailed to my personal account. Then I kept working. Kept smiling. Kept quiet. Waiting for the right moment. The email was buried in my archive. I found it while organizing my evidence. Dated 2 weeks before the Brennan deal closed. From Kenneth Harper to Alex Morgan. Subject. Brennan contract timeline. Alex, excellent work on positioning this deal. Commission will process at standard 7% rate per policy. Anticipates $72,000 payout when contract executes. This is a career-defining win. Well done. I read it 5 times. Kenneth had explicitly approved my commission. In writing. Before the deal closed. At the original 7% rate. This wasn't a policy dispute. This was theft. He'd promised payment, then blocked it after I delivered. I screenshot the email. Added it to my evidence folder. Then I searched for more. Found another email from 3 weeks before closing. Finance has confirmed commission calculations for Q3 pipeline. Your Brennan deal is projected at $72,000 upon execution. Great work. Another confirmation. Another promise. Both sent before they'd changed the policy. Both explicitly approving my commission at the original rate. Kenneth had known exactly what I was owed. Had confirmed it multiple times. Then he'd withheld it anyway. I sat back in my chair, evidence complete. They could change policies. They could claim reviews. They could gaslight and delay. But they couldn't erase emails where they'd already approved payment. The receipts were undeniable. I started searching for Tyler's predecessor. Found her on LinkedIn. Samantha Cole. Left the company 14 months ago. Now director of sales at a healthcare firm. I messaged her. Former colleague from our old company. Quick question about commission payments if you have a minute. She called me within an hour. Let me guess, she said. Big deal, withheld commission, Kenneth Harper involved. Yes. Welcome to the club. Her laugh was harsh. What did he tell you? That it's under review. That I need to be patient. He told me the deal didn't meet quality standards and my commission would be reduced by 60%. For a deal that exceeded quota by 300%. Did you fight it? For 3 months. Got nowhere. HR backed him completely. Eventually I just left. He paused. But here's what I learned later. 2 other reps had the same thing happen. Big wins, withheld commissions, sudden departures. Why didn't anyone report it? To who? Kenneth's protected. His numbers look great because he takes credit for our deals. And people who complain mysteriously stop getting good leads. So he just gets away with it. So far. Something shifted in her tone. But Alex, if you're documenting this, I'll testify. Kept my records. I have proof Kenneth approved my commission then withheld it. Would you really do that? Absolutely. That man stole $40,000 from me. I want him buried. After we hung up, I added Samantha's information to my evidence file. Pattern established. Multiple victims. Documented theft. This wasn't an isolated dispute. This was systematic fraud. HR called me in for a check-in. The HR director, Vanessa Price, smiled warmly as I sat down. Alex, I wanted to touch base about your recent commission concern. I understand there's been some confusion. It's not confusion. My commission was approved, then withheld. Kenneth mentioned you've been quite focused on this. I want to make sure we're supporting you appropriately. The phrasing was careful, therapeutic, like I was having an emotional breakdown instead of disputing stolen money. I'm focused on being paid what I earned. Of course. But I have to ask, and please don't take this the wrong way. Why are you so emotional about the money aspect? I stared at her. Because I earned $72,000 and it's not being paid. I understand compensation is important. But this level of intensity, it concerns me. Are there financial pressures we should be aware of? Resources we can connect you with? She was reframing my legitimate demand as a personal problem, making it about my emotional state instead of their contractual obligation. Vanessa, this isn't emotional. This is contractual. I have emails from Kenneth confirming my commission rate and amount before the deal closed. Those were preliminary estimates, not guarantees. They were explicit approvals. Alex. Her voice softened, became almost pitying. I'm trying to help you here. But if you continue pushing this aggressively, it could impact your standing in the company. Kenneth has raised concerns about your professionalism. There it was. The veiled threat. Back down or face consequences. I stood up. Thank you for your time. We'll follow up next week, she called after me. I didn't respond. They thought they could gaslight me into submission. Make me doubt my own legitimate claim. Instead, they'd just given me more evidence of retaliation. That week, I accepted another job offer. I'd been interviewing quietly for a month. Ever since Kenneth's "be patient" dismissal made it clear this would get ugly. The new role. Senior sales director at a competitor. Base salary 40% higher. Transparent commission structure. Signing bonus that replaced what I was owed. Start date, 3 weeks. Which meant my resignation would coincide perfectly with the company's quarterly internal audit. The timing wasn't accidental. I checked the audit calendar. Every quarter, finance reviewed all commissions, expense reports, and compensation decisions. My last day would be 2 days before auditors started examining Q3 payments, including mine. I drafted my resignation letter. Simple. Professional. No explanation of why I was leaving. Dear Kenneth, this letter serves as my 2 weeks' notice. My final day will be date. Thank you for the opportunity. Best regards, Alex Morgan. I saved it without sending. Waited for the right moment. Meanwhile, Kenneth seemed pleased with my silence. Good to see you're back to focusing on sales, he said in our weekly one-on-one. This is the Alex we need. Forward-looking. Absolutely, I agreed. Speaking of which, your commission should be processed in the next payment cycle. Reduced amount, but fair given the circumstances. Reduced to what? 35,000. Still a good payout. Half of what I'd earned. What he'd promised in writing. When will that process? Next month probably. These things take time. Next month. After I'd be gone. He was lying. Thalling. Hoping I'd leave before demanding payment. Sounds good, I said. Mile. Great. Glad we're on the same page. Perfect. Keep thinking that. 2 days before I planned to resign, Kenneth called me into his office. Alex, I have good news. He grinned. I pushed finance hard on your commission. It'll be on the next cycle. Full amount. Well, the adjusted amount. 35,000. Still lying. Still half. That's great, Kenneth. Thank you. No problem. You earned it. He leaned back. I'm also putting you up for the senior account executive role. You've proven you can close major deals. We want to invest in your future here. I appreciate that. Between you and me, you're the top candidate. He paused meaningfully. Assuming you're planning to stay long-term. There it was. Test. He wanted to know if I was leaving. If I was a threat. Definitely. I'm committed to the team. I kept my expression neutral. Perfect. Because we're building something special here. People who stay loyal get rewarded. After I left his office, I went straight to the bathroom and laughed until I cried. He was trying to buy my loyalty with stolen money and empty promises. While I had my resignation letter ready to send and a new job starting in 2 weeks. That afternoon I hit send on my resignation email. Subject. Notice of resignation. I copied HR. Watched Kenneth's reaction through his glass office wall. He went pale. Picked up his phone. Started making calls. Too late. I was already gone. My final week brought subtle changes. My access to certain systems got restricted. Client databases I'd used daily suddenly required special permissions. The sales pipeline dashboard, where I'd tracked all my deals including Brennan, showed an error message when I tried to log in. Access denied. Contact system administrator. Asked IT. They said Kenneth had requested the access changes. Why? Transitioning responsibilities. Standard procedure for departing employees. Except I still had 5 days left. And those systems contained my sales records. My proof of ownership over the Brennan deal. They were erasing my trail. Too bad I'd already downloaded everything weeks ago. I checked my personal backups. Everything was there. Deal timelines. Client communications. Kenneth's approval emails. Payroll screenshots. Complete documentation of every lie they'd told. On Wednesday, I received a calendar invite. Exit interview, final day. Attendees, Vanessa Price, HR. Kenneth Harper. Standard exit interview. I noticed something odd. The meeting organizer was someone in finance I'd never heard of. Carlton West. Senior financial analyst. Why would finance organize an exit interview? I looked him up in the company directory. His title. Internal Audit Coordinator. The person who managed quarterly compliance reviews. Someone had looped finance into my exit interview. Probably by accident. Which meant the audit team would be present when I explained exactly why I was leaving. Smiled. This was about to get interesting. The exit interview started normally. Vanessa led with standard questions. What prompted your decision to leave? How was your overall experience? Any feedback for improvement? I answered carefully. Professionally. Said nothing about the commission dispute. Kenneth sat in the corner, arms crossed, expression neutral. Then Carlton West from finance asked his first question. Ms. Morgan, I see you closed the Brennan Industries deal in Q3. Significant contract. Yes. And you resigned shortly after. Can I ask why you didn't stay to celebrate that win? Vanessa interrupted. Carlton, we're focusing on general feedback, not specific. I'm asking because commission payment timing matters for quarterly reconciliation. He looked at me directly. Was your commission paid? The room went silent. Kenneth's expression hardened. Vanessa shifted uncomfortably. I looked Carlton in the eye. No, it wasn't. Why not? I was told it was under review, that the policy changed. That payment would be delayed. The deal closed September 15th. Commission payment was due October 15th per policy. Today is November 2nd. He pulled out a printout. According to our records, commission was approved by management on September 10th. 7.2% of contract value. $72,000. Kenneth's face went pale. That approval was preliminary, he said quickly. The final amount required adjustment based on. Based on what? Carlton's voice was sharp. The commission policy in effect when the deal closed specified automatic payment within 30 days. No approval required for standard contracts. Brennan was reclassified as strategic. On September 18th, 3 days after the deal closed, Carlton looked at his notes. Conveniently after the commission was earned but before it was paid. Vanessa cleared her throat. Carlton, this is an exit interview, not an audit. Actually, it is an audit now. He turned to me. Ms. Morgan, do you have documentation showing your commission was approved and then withheld? I opened my laptop. Yes. Multiple emails from Kenneth confirming the amount and rate. All sent before the deal closed. I'd like copies of those. Kenneth stood up. This is inappropriate. We're not discussing confidential compensation matters in an exit interview. Then let's discuss them in a formal review. Carlton closed his folder. Ms. Morgan's commission will be flagged for audit investigation. I'll need access to all related communications and policy documentation. He looked at me. You're free to go. Someone from Payroll will contact you. I gathered my things and left. Behind me, I heard Kenneth's voice rising, Vanessa trying to calm him down, Carlton asking questions neither of them wanted to answer. The exit interview had just blown up in their faces. The question hung in the conference room like a blade. I'd already left, but Samantha, the former rep who'd offered to testify, told me later what happened. Carlton had asked one simple question. Why wasn't her commission paid? Kenneth tried corporate language. Policy changes necessitated review of large enterprise deals. Standard procedure for strategic accounts. Who classified Brennan as strategic? I did. Based on contract size and complexity. Before or after Ms. Morgan closed the deal? Silence. After, Kenneth finally admitted. But the classification would have happened regardless. Would it have happened if she hadn't resigned? Carlton pulled out another document. Because I have payroll records showing a pattern. 5 sales representatives in the past 18 months. All closed major deals. All had commissions delayed or reduced. All resigned shortly after. Vanessa's face went white. That's coincidental, Kenneth said. Turnover happens. All 5 were top performers. All earned large commissions. All left citing payment disputes. Carlton opened his laptop. I'm requesting all commission records for the past 2 years. Every hold, every adjustment, every approval. You don't have authority. I have audit authority. And I'm exercising it. The meeting ended badly. Kenneth stormed out. Vanessa started making emergency calls. Carlton sent a formal investigation notice to the executive team. Within hours, finance had pulled 4 quarters of commission data. My unpaid $72,000 wasn't the only anomaly. There were 17 others. The audit team found the email chain by accident. They were searching for commission approvals when they discovered a separate thread. Subject: Q3 Commission Strategy. Participants: Kenneth Harper, Vanessa Price, Carlton's predecessor in finance. Date: July, 2 months before my deal closed. Content: Kenneth, we need to control commission expenses this quarter. Target is 15% reduction from last year. Vanessa, difficult with performance contracts in place. Kenneth, focus on large deals. Delay payouts past quarter end. Reclassify as strategic if needed. Most reps won't push back hard enough to matter. Finance. What about documentation? Kenneth. I'll handle approvals verbally. Keep written records minimal. Another email, dated August. Kenneth. The Morgan deal is tracking to close. Commission exposure is $70,000 plus. Need strategy to reduce. Finance. Options are limited once deal closes. Kenneth. Not if we reclassify the account type. Change the policy interpretation. She's new enough she won't fight effectively. They'd planned it. Months in advance. A deliberate strategy to withhold commissions and reduce costs by stealing from their own sales team. And Kenneth's name was on every message. When Carlton showed me the emails later, after everything concluded, I sat in silence. They hadn't forgotten to pay me. They hadn't misunderstood policy. They'd strategically stolen from me. And from 16 other people. All to make their numbers look better. All documented in their own words. The emergency leadership meeting happened on a Friday. I wasn't present, but my new colleague, who had connections at my old company, told me what went down. The CEO, CFO, and general counsel on one side. Kenneth and Vanessa on the other. Carlton presenting findings. The executives tried to frame it as a misunderstanding. These commission delays were administrative issues, not intentional. Carlton interrupted. I have emails showing deliberate planning to withhold payments. Strategy discussions about reducing commission expenses by delaying payouts. Those were exploratory conversations about policy optimization. They referenced specific employees by name, including Ms. Morgan, with explicit plans to reduce her commission after she closed the deal. The CFO leaned forward. How many employees were affected? 17 that we've identified so far. Total unpaid commissions. $340,000. Silence. The general counsel spoke for the first time. This is wage theft. Legally actionable. If even one of these employees files a complaint with the labor board, we're exposed to investigation and penalties. We can settle quietly. We can't settle 17 cases of documented wage theft quietly. She pulled out her phone. I'm contacting outside employment counsel. This is beyond internal resolution. Kenneth tried to defend himself. We were operating within policy discretion. You rewrote policies after deals closed to avoid paying commissions you'd already approved. Carlton slid the email chain across the table. In writing. To reduce expenses. That's not discretion. That's fraud. The CFO closed his folder. Kenneth, you're suspended effective immediately. HR will contact you about next steps. Kenneth stood face red. This is an overreaction. You cost this company $340,000 in theft and exposed us to massive legal liability. Your lucky suspension is all that's happening right now. Vanessa was placed on administrative leave an hour later. The investigation expanded to include legal. And my name was listed as primary complainant, even though I'd never filed a formal complaint. The evidence had spoken for me. I was at my new job when legal called. Ms. Morgan, this is Patricia Winters from the legal department at your former employer. I'm calling regarding your commission dispute. Okay. We've completed our investigation. We found irregularities in how your compensation was handled. Her voice was carefully neutral. We'd like to schedule a time to discuss resolution. What kind of resolution? We're prepared to pay your full commission plus interest and penalties. We'd also like your statement regarding the circumstances for our internal review. You already have my emails. The exit interview recording. What else do you need? Your formal statement about when you first noticed the payment issue, who you spoke to, and what responses you received. For our records and potential legal proceedings. Legal proceedings against who? Pause. That's still being determined. But we have substantial evidence of intentional commission withholding. We need to understand the full scope. I spent an hour on the phone with her, answering questions. providing timeline, confirming dates. She already had the evidence. The emails, the policy changes, the approval documents. This wasn't about gathering information. This was about building a legal case against Kenneth. One more question, Patricia said at the end. Would you be willing to testify if this proceeds to formal proceedings? Yes. Even though you're no longer employed here. Especially because I'm no longer employed there. I have nothing to lose. After we hung up, I sat in my new office looking at my new contract. Clear commission terms. Transparent payment schedule. No games. Everything my old company should have been. My phone buzzed. Email from Payroll at the old company. Subject. Commission payment processed. I opened it with my hands shaking. Payment of $72,000 plus $4,320 interest, statutory rate, has been processed to your account. Expected deposit, 2 to 3 business days. $76,320. Finally. But the subject line of the next email caught my attention. Court preventive adjustment, Morgan Commission. They weren't paying me because it was right. They were paying me to avoid being sued. I was home when my former boss's career collapsed. Happened fast. News spread through industry channels. Kenneth Harper resigned. Not retired. Not pursuing other opportunities. Resigned under investigation. Vanessa Price. Terminated for cause. The company issued a statement. Following an internal review, we've identified failures in our commission payment processes. We're correcting affected payments and implementing new oversight protocols. Vague. Corporate. Carefully worded to admit nothing specific. But everyone in sales knew what it meant. Wage theft. Systematic. High-level involvement. My LinkedIn inbox filled with messages. Did you hear about Kenneth? Were you one of the affected reps? Someone said you're the one who exposed it. I didn't respond to any of them. But I did respond to Samantha and Tyler, the other victims who'd helped me. You were right. It was systematic. They paid everyone back. Kenneth's done. Samantha replied immediately. They reached out to me too. Full payment plus interest. I'm crying. Thank you for fighting. Tyler. I didn't think anyone could touch him. You actually did it. 3 days after Kenneth's resignation, the company released another statement. We've identified 17 cases of improperly delayed or reduced commission payments. All affected employees have been contacted and compensated. We're implementing third-party audit oversight for all future commission calculations. 17 people. $340,000 total. All because they'd thought sales reps were too desperate or too scared to fight back. They'd been wrong about me. And that mistake had cost them everything. Kenneth tried to reach out one final time. LinkedIn message. Alex, I need to explain what happened. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I blocked him. No explanation needed. No conversation warranted. He'd had months to do the right thing. Months to pay what he owed. Months to treat me with basic honesty. He'd chosen theft, deception and retaliation instead. Now he was facing consequences. And he wanted sympathy, understanding, a chance to reframe the narrative. He'd get none of it from me. The next day his LinkedIn profile changed. Currently on leave. Then a week later, profile deactivated. He'd disappeared from professional networks entirely. Through industry contacts, I learned he'd been blacklisted. Word had spread about the commission scandal. No reputable company would touch him. His career, built on stealing credit and money from his team, was over. Meanwhile, my new company announced my first major deal. $3.1 million contract, closed in my second month. Commission, $93,000. Paid within 2 weeks of contract execution. No delays. No reviews. No games. Just honest compensation for honest work. The payment notification arrived on a Tuesday morning. Wire transfer received. $76,320. I stared at my bank account balance. Every penny I'd earned. Plus interest. Plus penalties. Not because they wanted to pay me. Because legal had determined the alternative. Labor board complaints, lawsuits, public exposure was worse. The transaction description. Commission correction, court preventive. They'd paid me to make the problem disappear. To avoid 17 simultaneous wage theft claims. To prevent headlines about systematic compensation fraud. My silence was worth $76,000 to them. But I hadn't been silent. I documented everything. Spoken to auditors. Provided testimony. I just done it strategically. The right time. With the right evidence. And they'd never seen it coming. That afternoon I received a second email from legal. Ms. Morgan, your settlement payment has been processed. In exchange, we request your signature on the attached mutual release agreement. I read the agreement carefully. They wanted me to agree not to pursue further claims. Not to discuss the case publicly. Not to disparage the company. In exchange, the commission I'd already earned anyway, plus modest interest. I forwarded it to an employment attorney. Her response: don't sign this. You're entitled to significantly more. They're trying to close this cheap. I declined the release. Sent one sentence back. I'll accept the commission payment as owed. I'm not signing a release for money I already earned. Legal called within an hour. Ms. Morgan, we need closure on this matter. Then give me what I'm actually owed. Emotional distress damages. Retaliation penalties. Legal fees for reviewing your inadequate release. Silence. We'll need to discuss with counsel. Take your time. I have a lawyer now too. They settled for an additional $40,000 3 weeks later. The internal email went company-wide. I saw it because former colleagues forwarded it to me. Subject: important updates to commission policies and leadership. Following a comprehensive review of our sales compensation practices, we've identified significant failures in process and oversight. Effective immediately. All commission holds require documented justification and executive approval. Third-party audit firm will review all commission calculations. Quarterly policy changes cannot be applied retroactively to earned commissions. Anonymous reporting system established for compensation concerns. Additionally, we're addressing 17 cases where commissions were improperly delayed or reduced. All affected employees have been compensated with interest. Leadership changes. Kenneth Harper and Vanessa Price are no longer with the company. We're conducting a search for new sales leadership with integrity and transparency as core criteria. The message was signed by the CEO. No apology. No acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Just failures in process. Corporate language designed to admit nothing while appearing to fix everything. But buried in that email was the truth. They'd stolen from 17 people. Systematically. Deliberately. And they'd only stopped because one person fought back. My former colleague texted, "You destroyed Kenneth's career." I responded, "No. He destroyed his own career by committing wage theft. I just documented it." Within a week, the story leaked to industry publications. Sales manager terminated after commission withholding scandal. Tech company pays $340,000 in back commissions after internal investigation. Kenneth's name appeared in every article. His reputation, obliterated. His career, finished. His legacy, defined by the money he stole and the lies he told. Meanwhile, I got promoted at my new company. Senior Sales Director. You've exceeded every expectation. Honest work. Honest pay. Clean victory. 6 months after I left, HR from my old company called one final time. "Alex, this is Vanessa." "Actually, no. I'm not with the company anymore. This is personal." I almost hung up. But curiosity held me. "What do you want?" I wanted to apologize. "What we did to you was wrong." I knew it was wrong when it was happening. But I was scared of Kenneth. Scared of losing my job. Her voice cracked. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry." "Why are you telling me this now?" Because I was fired. And in my exit interview, they asked if I'd known about Kenneth's commission scheme. I lied and said no. Then they showed me the emails where I'd participated. She laughed bitterly. The same evidence you provided. It destroyed my career too. Good. Silence. You have every right to feel that way, she said quietly. I enabled him. I protected him when I should have protected you. I'm living with that now. After she hung up, I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No sympathy. Just closure. The people who'd stolen from me had faced consequences. Real ones. Career-ending ones. I'd won without yelling. Without begging. Without compromising. I'd let the records speak. Let the evidence do the work. Let their own documented words condemn them. And it had been enough. My first day at the new company felt like starting over. Clean contract. Transparent metrics. Leadership that valued honesty. In my second month, I closed a $3.1 million deal. Bigger than Brennan Industries. Commission processed automatically 2 weeks later. $93,000. No delays. No reviews. No games. My manager called to congratulate me. Outstanding work. This is exactly what we hired you for. Thank you. Commission will hit your account Friday. No surprises. No surprises. What a concept. That evening I saw my old company in the news. Company faces labor board investigation following wage theft allegations. The article detailed 17 cases of withheld commissions. $340,000 in stolen wages. Systematic fraud spanning 2 years. Kenneth Harper. Named explicitly. His photo included. His career detailed, then dismantled in 3 paragraphs. The company's stock dropped 12% on the news. I read the article twice. Then closed my laptop and went to dinner. Their crisis wasn't my problem anymore. To escape. Rebuilt. Thrive. While they dealt with investigations, lawsuits, and the public consequences of systematic theft, I was closing deals for a company that actually paid its people. The best revenge wasn't destroying them. It was succeeding without them. The final payment hit my account on a Friday morning. Settlement agreement signed. Additional damages paid. Legal fees covered. Total compensation. $116,320. My earned commission plus interest, penalties, emotional distress damages, and legal costs. Every penny extracted from a company that thought I'd be too scared or too desperate to fight. I transferred the money into savings. Closed my laptop. Leaned back in my chair. Justice delivered. Dignity intact. Clean win on my terms. I hadn't raised my voice. Hadn't begged. Hadn't accepted their gaslighting or their threats. I documented everything. Stayed strategic. Let the evidence speak. And when the moment came, when that finance auditor asked his simple question in my exit interview, I'd been ready. Not with anger. With receipts. Kenneth had thought he could steal from me because sales reps were disposable. Desperate. Easily replaced. He'd been wrong. The records had proven it. 17 people's worth of proof. $340,000 in systematic theft. All because he'd underestimated one person who refused to accept lies as truth. My phone buzzed. Text from Samantha. Just got my settlement. $47,000. I never thought I'd see this money. Thank you for fighting when I couldn't. Another from Tyler. They paid everyone. Your case broke it all open. You're a legend. Smiled. Not from pride. From satisfaction. Good one. Not just for me. For every rep Kenneth had stolen from. Every person he'd gaslit and threatened. The commission I'd earned was finally paid in full. But more importantly, I'd proven that documentation beats deception. That truth, properly preserved and strategically deployed, defeats even the most protected frauds. My boss withheld my commission after I closed a major deal. Payroll records exposed the truth. And in the end, justice wasn't just paid. It was delivered with interest.